everybody. On today's episode of Diving in Deep, we have the unbelievable star, country music star, Clint Black. He and I are such good friends, and you're going to see some sides of him that you have never seen. He's so funny. And I wore a cowboy hat on the episode to try to match his big black cowboy hat and his country look. And then he showed up in a baseball cap and a vest and tennis shoes. But anyway, you're going to love this conversation. You're just going to love it. He is amazing. And you're going to love hearing all about how he made it in the music industry. So tune in for that and download it, please. Give us a good review, share it, and like it. You do look like Roy Rogers. We're rolling now, by the way. And I'm so disappointed because...
Should I have my leg up or down? We're rolling?
We're rolling, yeah.
All right.
What feels more comfortable?
This does.
We'll do that then. You got cool tennis shoes on too.
Okay.
But I have to say I'm disappointed.
But this is comfortable too, so should I do that?
I have to say I'm disappointed because I cowboyed up. Because I thought you would be here in this big black cowboy hat with your boots and all that. And now the whole world knows that that's not the real you. This is the real you.
Rookie mistake.
Or on my part.
Anyone could have miscalculated. The cowboy hat, I love it. You look great in a hat.
Thank you.
Not everyone can wear one. And you first have to own it,
Right.
Obviously,
I do own it. I bought it.
Oh, you own that.
Yeah, I own this cowboy hat. And it's the only one that fits me because I have hair extensions. So it's real hard to get them to fit over the hair extensions. Yeah.
You should. Are you going to wear it on stage, you think?
I might. Should I?
I think so.
Does it mess with your ears or the sound of your mic with the hat?
No. In fact, what it does is it shields your microphone from a lot of the cymbal noise.
Ooh.
So if you're singing onto the mic stand, or you'll have your mic with you as you walk around, and it kind of acts like a shield.
I never thought about that.
If you got a plexiglass hat, it'd be even better.
Have you seen? Well, I mean, I might do that, but I would only put the plexiglass in the back because I don't want my face to be covered.
Yeah.
Or do I? Not yet. Maybe in 10 years.
I'm going to get back to you on that one.
Okay. We just rewatched Yellowstone from beginning to end. Have you watched it?
Not twice.
But have you watched it once all the way through?
Yep.
Okay. So you know how there was, I'm not going to give anything away, but you know how there was a big break between the two halves of season 5?
Yes.
So because we rewatched it and watched it all bunched together, the whole season 5, it was much more heart-wrenching. And I won't say anything else because I don't want to
second half, you mean?
Alert. Yes.
Yeah.
Because it was backed up. You didn't have that big break where you come back and you're like, oh my God, but you don't feel disconnected to Kevin Costner's character.
It was done well. The emotion in the last half. I think we had the gap, and it didn't affect that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I Googled.
We're feeling people, though.
Yeah, I guess maybe I'm shallow, or I'm instant gratification.
Disconnected from people.
Yeah. Yeah. Or, from.
That's what everyone says. I don't know. That
cowboys who become governors, maybe I'm disconnected to that.
Yeah.
But do you know Kevin Costner?
Does anyone? No, I don't know him. I don't know him.
Me neither. No. Well, I met him on Jay Leno one time, and he was very short. Maybe I had on high heels, but he was only right there with me.
Did you make fun of him?
I did.
Yeah.
I was like, you're so much shorter than me.
Yeah, you're a little person.
You're a little person. Yeah.
That's not that there's anything wrong with little people.
No, not at all. I'm
a little compared to Conan O'Brien.
Yeah.
Who's kind of like a tree.
How tall are you?
He's more like a tree. Very. No, I'm medium. I'm 5'8", depending on the boots.
Do you know that that's the average height for men?
That was tall, like a couple hundred years ago. I would have been on NBA.
Exactly.
Probably.
You would have been tall.
Yeah.
But something happened.
Excuse me.
Growth hormones or something. What kind of coffee do you have? Just a plain...
Excuse me. It's cold.
Is it cold?
No, this is cappuccino.
Okay.
Italian drink.
And did you make that at home?
I made it.
Do you have a big fancy coffee pot?
I have the simplest coffee pot.
Yeah, that's
probably
the best.
made. It probably cost $10.
Is it like what's the brand that everybody had? Not Folgers.
I think it's a Radio Shack.
Okay.
Pretty sure.
I prefer that. Because now they're saying that the K-Cups are bad for you. That the plastic should not be heated, and you shouldn't drink anything that comes out of that heated plastic. So now I've gone back to making pots of coffee.
But if you got my coffee, you wouldn't have the plastic.
I know.
Mine has a kind of a cloth bag.
You should have brought me one.
I meant to.
Did you forget?
I forgot. Yeah.
It's okay.
I was busy looking in the mirror to make sure I,
Had it all together.
Yeah, these camera angles, you don't know. What's
You're
going
to look great.
Thanks.
We'll send it to you. You can tell us anything you don't like because we're friends.
Do you feel uptight now that they said cameras are rolling?
No.
You feel? I do.
You do?
Yeah, I felt like.
Well, you've done a million
like
interviews.
I could say anything, but now I'm tensing up.
Really?
Yeah.
Should we do some breathing exercises?
Yes.
Okay. Ready? In. Also, I just saw.
That didn't work.
If you have anxiety, you are supposed to cover your left eye and look up with your right eye, and that takes away your anxiety. Because supposedly that movement turns off the part of your brain that makes anxiety. Yeah, I thought.
You know what else? Chocolate.
Yeah, chocolate is good, and Klonopin, which I'm a big fan of.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that in public.
I know. I just love drugs.
Oh, I thought that was something else.
Oh, no, Clonix. You were thinking Clonix.
Yeah,
no, I'm thinking of anti-anxiety medication. I've never done a Clonix.
No.
Also, they say now that women shouldn't get what you get after 40 every year, your mammogram. I'm so confused.
Men should.
Men should get mammograms.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I need to study that because now they're saying, well, that's like radiation being put in your body. I don't know the answers. But I messed up my hair.
People are going to hear this conversation, right?
We might put that.
No, I'm just thinking, how weird do I want to be? Because the thoughts that are popping into my head.
I want you to be weird. Because the podcast is doing great. It's growing. And it's doing great. And eventually I want to start making money. So the more weird you are, the more money that I could potentially make.
So weird's the cash crop now.
Yeah.
I got you.
Of course.
Okay.
You live in this world. You know that.
I don't really.
I just watched your show the other night. We opened for you. And I have to say your show is incredible.
You don't have to say it.
It was.
But thank you.
It really was.
Thank you.
Your voice is amazing. I hate when people put in the word still because that pisses me off. Because I feel like I'm a better singer now. It's finally.
Finally amazing.
Yeah. Shockingly.
Yeah.
I hate when people go, you still look great. You still sound great. Are you still touring? I'm like, yes.
How old are you?
Right. How old are you? And I feel like my voice is better today than it was 20 years ago because just the more you do it, the better you get. Yeah. And I feel like yours is the same way. Yeah.
Yeah. And, it's kind of like the journeyman, on the construction site. Mm-hmm. When you get to where you start to decline and you notice it, that's when you have to decide, how much longer am I going to do this?
Correct.
Where everyone notices it.
Correct. And I don't want to go that far.
Yeah.
I want to bow out gracefully and when it's the right time, but only I will know that. When it's getting hard to sing.
That's something you don't want to hear from your agent.
Right. No, never. I want to know, like, if my voice is having trouble. I've never lowered my keys. And in fact, I raise my keys because for some reason that makes it easier for me to sing because I have such a high voice. So the more I raise them, it's easier to get up there and just shoot those notes out.
Yeah, there's only one song I have that I lowered the key in just because I didn't like the tone.
Was it Killin Time?
No, something that we do.
Okay.
And I originally did that in G, and now I do it in F. It's just a whole step down.
Yeah.
But I thought it was richer sounding.
Right. Maybe you should have recorded it there anyway.
Well, maybe you should have recorded it.
Well, I mean,
look, nobody
I don't think
needed
it's
to
because
point out that I made a mistake right here in front of everyone watching.
Well, no, I'm just saying, I don't think it's because you had to. I'm just saying sometimes we record songs in the wrong key. And then we realize it, and it's unenjoyable to sing.
Yeah, it's not enjoyable to sing, and I don't. If I feel like nobody else will enjoy it, and I can listen to the recording and it's fine, but when you're working in the studio, you have the perfect environment.
Yes,
you're able to sit there and make sure that it's tucked in the mix just right. But when you're singing live. It's just going to go by and that's the way it went.
And you want it to be in a good place in your voice.
Yeah.
Not like on that edge of like cracking or, I totally know what you mean.
And when you raise the key, that break, there's the 2 or 3 notes between your chest voice and your head voice. When you get to where you're not spending too much time in those 2 or 3 notes, it's naturally going to sound better, feel better, more relaxed, better tone.
Absolutely. More enjoyable to sing. Yeah. Like I don't like to go to falsetto, but I do like that head voice and real loud head voice. But I have a big mouth anyway. Like
everyone knows it.
I know. Everyone knows it. I'm so loud.
You've got that power that we've talked about before, where it's just like you can hit this ramp.
Yes.
And you're just zooming up into this great big notes.
I think it started from starting so young in bluegrass where they teach you to belt those notes, Yeah,
you don't want the soft version of your voice in bluegrass doing those harmonies.
Absolutely
you want it
not.
To cut like a trumpet.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. You came to my house for Easter a couple of years ago, you and your beautiful wife and your beautiful daughter. And I just love y'all. I love your family. That was one of the best Easters that we have ever had.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. And the best part of it was playing Jenga. And I tell everybody this story because you're the king of dad jokes, first of all, but they're really funny. They're not dorky dad jokes. They are hilarious. Like, anybody would want you to be their dad telling these jokes because you make everybody die laughing. So it was my sister-in-law, KK's turn. And you were like, I've played Jenga so much. I know how to play this game because we've played it a lot. So I'll give you one piece of advice. And she was like, yes, tell me how to do it. And you said, be very careful. And that was your advice. And we died. I died laughing. I love your kind of sense of humor.
The only reason that's funny is because
it's a non-joke.
They think you're actually going to say something smart.
Exactly.
And
like you should pull from here or do this. Just be careful.
I love to say stupid things. And if you can look like you really think you're being smart when you're saying stupid things, then that's the key. That's the trick.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a part of being an entertainer is being able to be naturally funny? And because I was standing side stage the other night when we opened for you and I couldn't hear everything that you were saying, but like, are you funny on stage? Do you make time to make your fans laugh?
I crack me up. Yeah.
Yeah. No, especially in theater conditions.
Yeah. It's easier than at those outdoor shows like we did. And when you have an audience who can hear the subtlety of the delivery, it's easier to be funny.
Exactly.
And I've developed some bits and chunks, little stand-up comedian terms. So I've gone from having something funny I thought of in the moment, and then I built it into a little bit, and then into a chunk, and so I could do maybe all combined 15 minutes of funny bits and chunks.
Yes.
And I have a great respect for comedians who have to develop 45 minutes of that, and then
Same.
and then they can go out and do that, and then they'll do their comedy special, and then it's like they have to create a whole new body of work.
Yes.
Whereas we collect our hits as we go,
right.
and everybody wants to hear those hits. Mm-hmm. If you're Jeff Foxworthy, maybe everybody wants you to return to the you might be a redneck if type of stuff. Or the Ingval, here's your sign.
Yes.
You know,
some of those things you just got to stick with. Yeah.
But you better have 40 minutes of new stuff. And
That's right.
It's tough. I did the TV show, the short-lived one-episode TV show on CBS called Secret Talents of the Stars, or Hidden Talents of the Stars.
Oh.
And so I did stand-up, and I worked out at Zany's a couple times here in Nashville. And I worked out at the Comedy Store on Sunset, and a couple of times at the Improv.
Was that terrifying?
And it was really hard. And the first night at Zany's, I think Kevin Nealon, Jimmy Fallon were there, and the place was packed, and it went really well. And the next time, there wasn't anyone big like that there, and there were about 15, 20 people, and it bombed. I just
What did you do? Like when you would tell a joke and it bombed, what would you do?
You sweat.
Yes.
You start sweating.
Did you so what I do if I feel like a joke or something I've said has gone over their head, or like I'm making fun of my kids and people are like, oh, I'm like, oh my God, I'm joking. I usually confront the crowd. Like,
yeah.
I'm going to need you to laugh. You're making me insecure. Like, I will just tell them that.
I can't remember. I didn't have any recoveries then. I was working on a specific set of material, and I think I just moved on. There were a few things I improvised. When I got to the Comedy Store, it was open mic night, and they had a spotlight that was just right in your eyes. You couldn't see anyone, but I knew everyone in the audience, not a big audience, but I knew everyone there was waiting to go up. Mm-hmm. And so they just, like, get on with your stuff so I can get up there and do mine. They're not there to laugh, have fun. And so that was really tough. And then the first time at the Improv, I got up and didn't do well, and I sort of rejiggered what I was doing, and it was my last chance before the TV show, and I pulled it together, and it was mostly about delivery and committing to the jokes.
Yes.
And I got it together and went and did the TV show, and I did okay on there. But when I'm doing my show, my concerts, the big advantage is no one there is expecting me to be funny.
Right.
They don't expect it. So if you're mildly funny, then you're funny.
Yes.
Or even hilarious. I've had people tweet at me, you're hilarious, and
yeah.
And I think if they saw me in a comedy club, they'd say, he wasn't as good as that other guy, or.
And your audience is there because they love you.
Yeah, they want to hear the songs, and as long as you don't try for too long to be funny, they're there for the ride.
Yeah.
So it's really tricky to not waste any time with that. Mm-hmm. And but their expectations for funny are just really low.
Right.
It's it's not expected. At a comedy club, it's super high.
Oh,
We're paying for you to make us laugh. And if you don't, it's like a compounding interest or lack thereof. The longer you go without making them laugh, the hate meter goes up, and they just want you off.
I couldn't handle that.
Yeah,
I'm too insecure.
It's
I could not handle it.
I wouldn't want to do it again. And when they can't, I had left LA after the taping, and it was live. And I got home the next day, walking through the door. My phone's ringing. I'm setting my bags down, and my phone's ringing. I pick up the phone. It's my manager, and he said they canceled the show. And I was so relieved because I only had to write 2 minutes. I wrote 12 minutes of stand-up to boil down to 2 minutes. I had to fill 2 minutes.
For the TV show.
TV, yeah.
Hidden Talent. Okay.
Yeah, and 2 minutes was so hard to come up with. That the idea that I didn't have to come up with 2 more minutes was such a relief.
And you didn't get anybody to help you, like a real professional comedian?
Yeah,
you did.
They wanted me to have a comedy whisperer.
Okay.
And Wayne Fetterman, who I knew through playing basketball over at Gary Shandling's on Sundays, Wayne, they let me hire Wayne.
Okay.
And Wayne... he was really helpful, but he was trying to break me away from my dad comedy. Yeah. And get me, make me better. And so that was a good type of arm wrestling match.
Because your dad comedy is so you.
It is, and it's okay for, I think, friends and family and maybe even a concert. But he knew what I was going into better than I did. Okay. Going into those comedy clubs to work out, he knew that it's not going to fly in a comedy club. And they ended up asking me, they knew I knew Gary, and they just begged me to try to get Gary to come and do some comedy whisperer stuff with me. And they ended up kind of screwing Wayne out of the real credit he had earned for doing that, because they wanted to use Gary's name as a bigger star, and ended up making everybody unhappy in the process. And it's kind of a TV thing, it's very typical of TV producers to be thinking of the end product and not worrying so much about the people involved and how they like it. Right. So it was kind of a bad taste in the mouth type of thing in the end. And I felt really bad for Wayne, who's a super nice guy. And for Gary, who had ended up, he wasn't happy with how they used him. And I wasn't savvy enough or bold enough or whatever it was to see and grab hold of whatever was going on and say no about the wrong things. And so those type of things you look back on, and it just makes it bittersweet. It was a good experience overall. The working out in the comedy clubs, hanging and learning from Wayne Fetterman was great. Yeah. Shandling was anytime you're around Shandling, it was great. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but
have you met Chris D'Elia?
No.
Do you know him?
I think I know him from clips.
He's so funny, and we met at Stagecoach, and so now we DM every now and then, and he's so funny, and his specials are so funny, but he'll get a little dirty sometimes, and I don't like dirty humor at all. But it's not bad. He'll just, say a few things, but he is actually truly one of the funniest comedians I've ever known. You should check him out, Chris D'Elia. But I don't really know how you made it. Like, I don't really know that story. I know a little bit about it, but I want to go all the way back to, because what's so curious to me is, how do people get started singing and then decide this is my life? Especially if you come from a normal family, not in music. You know, it always fascinates me, like, when do people decide that, or how do they know? Like, how did you know you were a singer, and that, you know, and I'm sure you had no idea how famous you actually would become, and all your number one records and your hit records and your ability to songwrite. So tell me about that.
I had the older brothers. One was playing harmonica, so I took after him on that when I was 13. And when I was 15, my other brother, Kevin, was playing guitar and singing, so I started trying to do that. Mm-hmm. And he was in a band. They didn't have a bass player, and the lead guitarist, Gavin Van, he was like a caring nurturer guy. He just loved to see everyone grow. And he would show me things. One day I would get up in the backyard jams and pretend that I'm plugged in with my guitar and kind of play along, but I would sing harmony around my brother Kevin, who was...
You're the baby of the family?
Yeah. Okay. And so I would sing around Kevin and just listen. Whatever note he wasn't on, I would try to sing the other note. Mm-hmm. And so at one point, Gavin just... he had a keyboard. He traded it in for a bass guitar and handed it to me and said, "You have to be our bass player." And then he showed me enough to kind of get me going, and I learned on the job to play bass.
Yeah.
And
did you
and
like
sing
playing
in the
bass,
band.
or is bass hard?
It was easier than guitar.
Okay.
A little bit of adaptation, but I wasn't great at it. I wasn't the groove meister. I kind of joked that I was lead bass player. You know, it's probably a little too busy. And but I liked being in the band and singing. And the band broke up, and I started playing solo in bars, not on bass.
Not on bass, just me and a bass.
Just acoustic guitar, and I had my harmonica brace and was playing harmonica by then, and I was doing all the Haggard and Neil Young and, you know, everything in between.
You sound a lot like Merle Haggard.
Yeah, thanks.
You do.
I can see his face singing my songs sometimes when I'm singing.
You sound so much like him. And I've always said
I can mimic. I could probably mimic him maybe better when I was younger, but I used to mimic him and Willie and Neil Young and Croce.
You imitated Neil Young?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I would love to hear that.
Yeah, it's you got to be in good voice because, you know, he's up high in a lot of stuff, and it's kind of a falsetto blend.
Right, and not a lot of harmony. I mean, vibrato.
Right, and so I was playing all that stuff, and I did that for about 10 years before I got the record deal.
Mm-hmm. So what kind of an environment did you grow up? What was your household like?
It was crazy, a little bit of fighting with my brothers, and but a lot of love. My dad was very stoic. My mom was, she's Italian, and so she was gregarious and inflammatory, you know, quick to get angry at you when you deserved it, and quick to let that go and laugh. And
what was her last name?
Skirma.
So
her family on her father's side, we trace back to Sicily, Palermo, and so there was a lot of laughter. We laughed and joked, and kind of like a sitcom. And everyone was trading barbs and laughing. When we got into music, then we were always playing it around the house. Our parents loved to, sit at the kitchen table and listen to us sing for them. And
no girls.
No girls.
3 boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was crazy. I mean, it was, I would bring snakes home, and I I lost a venomous snake in the house once for 3 days, a copperhead, and just, you know, just crazy stuff. And I mean, getting into big time trouble, you know, getting caught smoking cigarettes and all of that stuff that kids will get into. But fortunately, not too much trouble, you know, so to where we ended up down a really bad road.
Right. Was your dad strict?
Yeah, he was very strict and, you know, worked hard, very quiet. And, but you knew when you went afoul of him, because he'd get really quiet and he'd start using very few words, and it would be like, no. And so, and then if you pressed it, he'd say, I said no. If you ask me again, you're going to get a whooping.
I love that.
And he didn't hand out a lot of whoopings, mostly because we didn't press things. But he hated it. He hated giving, you know, he would take a belt and I remember maybe 2 times when we really earned it. You know, this would have been in the late 60s when parenting was quite different.
Right.
But I believe it saved us from prison or worse.
Yeah.
Because the fear instilled in us early on the consequences of bucking the authorities.
Yes.
It was just, you know, you don't mess with Dad. My mom, we could drive my mom so crazy that she would finally relent.
Right.
And let us do whatever we were asking for. But my dad, no. So if she threatened, when your dad gets home, I'm going to tell him, that was a big deal.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's love. I believe in that wholeheartedly. I mean, I raised my children that way. And I kind of had to be the mom and the dad because Jay, you know, a stepdad shouldn't really discipline the kids, especially like spank and stuff, even though he got my kids when they were really little, 3, 4, and 7. But he just didn't really want to do that. You know, he wanted them to feel safe with him and all that. So I was pretty strict, in the formative years. He's
got a different kind of earning to do.
Right.
Than a biological parent.
That's right. That's right. And, you know, their dad isn't in the picture and hasn't been ever really. So it was kind of up to me to try to be as strict as I could, even though I've got the mother tenderness and love and, you know, but I just thought if I love them, then I'll get them in between birth and 5 years old. And if I do that, I think
you're not doing them any favors by letting things pass.
No. And you can't break your promise to them. If you threaten something or if you say, you know,
if I say I'm going to kill you, I'll have to kill you.
I'll have to kill you. That's right. I threatened Avery one time with getting his hair buzzed. I said, if you do it again, we're going to get your hair buzzed. Cause he had all the kids had that Justin Bieber sweep, you know, and his hair was like,
that's such an an interesting threat.
It's the only thing I could think of.
Yeah.
That I thought, you know,
what will he do anything to avoid? Exactly.
Well, he did it again. And it involved fighting with a girl. He was in the PAGE program, which is like for gifted kids and high IQ. And so I felt that was a big privilege for him to be in that. And there was another girl in there that they just butted heads. It's 3rd grade. I mean, so, you know, it wasn't that serious. But I just said, if you do it again, we're gonna give you a crew cut. And by God, he did it again. And I just died because I did not want to do that.
Yeah.
So I took him to the hair place. I cried. He cried. That lady that buzzed his hair cried. We were all crying. I mean, it was just so traumatic.
Yeah.
And
why are you making us do this?
yeah. And I said, because I threatened it, I have to, or he'll never trust me again on, threats and other things. And so we did it, and it was terrible. And I've apologized to him probably 100 times. Like, I'm sorry, that was too strict.
But really, I'm sorry you made me do this to you.
Sorry you made me do that. Yes. Yeah. And I did it because I love you. Yeah.
Yeah. The trust, it's a trust thing. I'm going to trust you, to do what you're supposed to do and not do what you're supposed to not do. That's
right.
And then if that is broken, you can't get it back. But if it's punished properly, you can heal it.
That's right. That's right. And I've always believed in, if the kids get a spanking or they get in trouble when they were little, Jay and I would always come up for bedtime, and we would pray with them, and we would give them the opportunity to ask for forgiveness and apologize to us. And then we would say, we love you no matter what, so there was definitely a nice closure to it. Not just like, go to your room. I wasn't a yeller. I didn't yell at my kids. So I tried really, really, really hard, because the goal with that is you want people to like your kids.
That's right. As adults especially.
Adults, yeah.
Do you mind if I put on a little
I don't mind at all.
Chapstick?
At all.
When I do this at home, Lily will make sure Lisa is watching, and then they laugh at me.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But they say it's the way I do it.
Well, let's see it. I want to see it.
No, I was
like, that is...
I'm not a good enough comic to have come up with the funny way of doing it.
That would have been very strange.
Yeah.
Don't you... So, wait, you pucker your lips and then do it?
that was the comedian in me trying to do the worst version of this ever seen.
You've just shown two horrible examples.
I do this, and I do that.
Yeah.
And...
I hate having chapped lips.
But Lily just thinks that's the most ridiculous way, I guess, to do it.
I think it looks normal. But I have a lot of people in my family and in my life that are addicted to chapstick. They keep it on them at all times. So I guess my kids hate.
I always have it on me, but I seldom use it.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you used it on the podcast.
Thanks.
That's like an exclusive.
Now I'm all shiny.
Does it feel better?
How's that look out there? Is it good?
Looks great.
Is it glimmering?
Yeah. So, did Joe Galante sign you?
Yes.
Yes. Did you sing for him?
But before the Galante thing, Lily, the punishment thing.
Oh, yeah.
We learned, I think that us being disappointed and upset with her was the most punishing thing. And she didn't ever like to run afoul of us with anything.
Olivia's like that.
And yeah, so the punishment thing with her, we never really had to go so far with it.
Right.
That like with Avery, with the haircut thing, we had, trying to think like you of what is the thing that's the thing.
Yeah.
And I'm sure if I worked at it, I could remember those moments where we had to do something as big as the haircut thing. But it was really interesting how much I don't think I had that. I don't think disappointing my dad was the biggest fear I had.
Right.
It was more about, I don't want the punishment that comes with it.
Yes. That's how I was with my mother. I did not want the punishment or the verbal lashing, that I would get, because it could be bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So overall, I was a good kid, I think. I just, and I started
You turned bad later in life.
Yeah, I'm bad now.
Yeah, we can see.
Exactly. The whole world can see it. But I worked all the time, either on the farm or weekends playing in bars.
That'll keep you out of trouble.
And it kept me out of trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
it's the purpose. It's the thing you're driven to, the thing you have to do, having a purpose. And I think a lot of kids, miss out on that. You have to have something that you're passionate about, or that you have to be devoted
that
to,
you have to
in
do.
order to keep a job or something.
Right.
Yeah.
I do feel very sorry for Lily and my kids' generation, because on one hand, I think, I do think they're a great generation. I think they're strong. They're motivated. I do think they're hard workers, but they just don't have the opportunities we had to do chores, to do work. And especially when you grow up with money, it's hard to, we had no choice but to work on the farm. There were 7 of us kids and we had to help. Yeah. So, I was tired at night. I didn't want to go out. And I did the typical small town thing. I had a boyfriend from 16 till 18, 15 to 18, same boyfriend. And in small towns, that happens a lot. And then you marry that boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's it like having just one child? Is it like the Three Musketeers, the 3 of you? Yeah,
we're a very tight family, and we thought about what the dynamic would be, because they can be so different from each other. It's later in life. I was 40 when Lily was born, and so that was enough. It was enough to keep up with, and Lisa almost entirely quit working. She made 2 movies, I think, since Lily was born. And so she was there focused on every aspect of Lily's life and managing all that. And
which I believe in very much.
Yeah, I would come and go, but I knew everything that was going on, and we talked. It was just talking a lot. We basically engendered the enough trust in Lily for her to tell us everything.
Yes.
So we knew everything that was going on, and Lisa basically lassoed me and tied me up at all the right times, so that I didn't pick up a phone and call someone. There was only one occasion when she was in high school where I had to call a parent. And,
what about?
I'm not going to. That's Lily's life. That's Lily's life. So it was a troubled kid, and he was bringing that trouble into Lily's life.
Okay.
And so the dad was great. I went to the dad, and that all worked out well. But other than that, there was a rule that we were not going to expose Lily for being honest with us about stuff,
right?
Unless it got to a point. And so Lisa really taught me to hold back, and as long as we know what's going on and we can stop it from hurting Lily, then it's not our business to go and betray her with the other kids by going to the other parents. There was only a couple of parents that Lisa talked to, maybe one mom, and it was very, very good to get that trust from Lily, so that we know and knew where the problem spots were, and so that just continues now, where we talk and we know everything that's going on, and whenever we haven't seen or talked much to each other for 3 or 4 days, then Lily will come over, and it's like downloading a hard drive.
Yes.
And she downloads every detail. And
I love that.
Yeah. And she'll run over some things sometimes, and Lisa's very patient, and I'm more like my dad.
Yeah.
And so I had to make sure that it got a laugh a couple of times so that it is received well. But I would just do like a lawyer, redundant. like that. And Lily very quickly started catching herself and not being redundant. And so she's laying it all out, everything that's been happening. And she's just, she's fantastic that way.
She's fantastic in general. She is.
But the combination of her mom's wisdom and my wisdom of listening to her mom.
Yeah.
all the right times, I can be very unwise, but as long as I'm wise enough to listen to what Lisa has to say about it, then I can stay out of trouble.
Yes. And I think that's a mother's job, is to really understand the child. And I think a lot of fathers, especially fathers of daughters, might need a little bit more explanation. Like, this is what girls are going through, and this is maybe something you can't completely understand, so let me explain it to you. But my kids are the same. Sometimes they tell me too much. Like, they tell me everything. Yeah. And sometimes I'm just like, but I just try to...
I leave the room.
Yeah, I just try to go, this is better than them not feeling comfortable to talk to me. Like, all three of my kids would tell me anything. If they, if they tried meth, not that they ever have, but I'm saying something so terrible, they would tell me. They don't feel the need to hide anything from me because I don't shame them. I just talk it through with them. Or tease them if it's something not so serious. But yeah, they tell me everything as well, which I love.
Lily will joke about me because I would talk things through with her. And it could be the littlest thing that's leading her astray or something. And her joke now is, my dad will say, well, good luck with the meth addiction in prison. Because that's kind of where all my lectures ended up. Good luck with the meth addiction and prison.
You say that to her.
I would end up there.
Right.
So here's what happens. And then meth addiction in prison was usually.
Oh my God. I'm going to start using that on Audrey because she's the youngest. I think she still could benefit from hearing that.
Yeah.
Good luck with meth addiction in prison.
It's funny to hear this stuff kicked back to me from her now, at age 23, and her laughing about this perception of me when she was a teenager.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that. Y'all are great parents.
Thanks.
This hour is going by so fast. I just want to talk a little bit about, anything you want to talk about, but how do you enjoy your career now? Are you still loving the 90 minutes on stage, the travel?
Yeah, the travel is always just the necessary evil. As you know, most of the time we're not getting to enjoy the places we go, just the venue and the crowd. Right. And then there are those times when we're so far away from home that we spend days off out there, 3 or 4 days off. Sometimes, out where we can see friends or get out and do things in the city we're in.
Do Lisa and Lily travel with you a lot?
Not a lot.
Okay.
No, we would do about 24 cities a year for a while. This year's different because we're focused on the 35th anniversary of Killin Time.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Thanks. We've been doing the whole album, and then surrounding that by other hits, but doing the album top to bottom. Not at the festivals like we did, but most of what we're doing, it's that. And the funny thing, I mean, the travel doesn't bother me at all when they're out there. I don't get homesick. When I'm doing shows, I'm loving that, and I don't get homesick. But if you hit a day off out on the road, then it's time to sit around and think about missing them. And FaceTime helps a lot. But
it does. Does Lily enjoy singing with you and going out on stage? Yeah.
Yeah, she would go out all the time.
My kids are they're afraid of being labeled as, Nepo babies, like that there's nepotism happening with them.
Yeah, but up until the latter part of the 1900s, which we're from the 1900s.
Yeah, I was born in 1902.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Up until the latter part of that century, it was very common for the kids to be doing the same thing the parents were doing.
It's family business.
Yeah, it was the family business, and the kids would apprentice with the dad or the mom, and everything that they knew would be passed along, handed down. The farm would be taken over, or if it's some other business, serving the community, whatever it was, and so that was very common, and no one looked at it that way. But when you get into something that's I think more of an enigma, like the entertainment business. How do you get in? How do you stay in? What do you do when you're in? That it looks more like something that you've handed to them, as opposed to something that you've taught them and that they've worked hard and trained in.
And they're naturally good at.
Yeah,
like you are.
And so it's a genetic thing,
right?
That was passed down to me, and if I pass it down, or Lisa passes it down to our daughter, and then we teach her and discipline her, she earns it. Your kids have earned it.
Totally.
They weren't. It's not like you have a show and then you go, you get to stand over here and not be any good, but be in the spotlight because you're my kid.
Right.
And
I know I wouldn't do that to them.
Yeah, and so their preoccupation with it is based on that the concept that, well, it's in the entertainment business, so it was given to them. Right. As opposed to if they were carpenters, do you think they would have just been handed, here, make this table? They would have had to learn the basic, the fundamentals, and then the nuances. They would have had to go through all of that.
Yes.
In order to get to the point where they're going to be trusted with a table. Yes. And to be trusted with singing and playing in your band. For Lily to be trusted on stage with my audience. Yeah. I'm not going to put my audience through something that's mediocre. Right. For the sake of my daughter's feelings. Yes. And you wouldn't. And so I think when I would introduce Lily, maybe in the audience there was a sense of, oh, I hope this is good.
But then it always is.
And then I'm a side man when she's up there, and so I'm able to look at the audience from a different angle. Right. And I see their faces when she soars up to a high note, and it's the pitch is great and the tone is great, and
they're loving it.
I see their faces and I see them go, oh,
yeah, this is legitimate.
Yeah, and so that I think the stigma of the nepotism thing is wrong. I think it has to be
because Avery's an amazing guitarist. I didn't do that. I don't know how to play guitar. I mean, he spent out an unbelievable amount of hours from age 14 all through high school. Yeah. He played football and he practiced. So in our home, all we heard was guitar upstairs in the playroom. He set up his own workspace. So I didn't do that. He did that. Yeah. So I keep telling him.
So, what do you think they cried nepotism with the Carter family?
Right.
What about the Partridge family?
Exactly.
How many family bands have there been? And if someone's not good, it's not going to continue.
Right. Like Rhett Akins, is he the father or the son?
He's the father.
Yeah. And then his son
the dad.
Is Thomas Rhett.
Thomas, yeah.
I mean, Thomas is great. So he deserves a shot. He's,
but the other thing that people on the outside of the business with this great enigma, I call it, They don't know that, you can let them sing a song or two on stage. You can do that sort of thing. But you can't give them a successful career.
Absolutely
not. It is not transferable.
No.
The only thing you can give them is insight, guidance, instill the discipline. And
maybe a few opportunities, like to be on stage in front of a big audience. But other than that,
and you can introduce them to people. You can open a door, but if they don't walk through the door and convince that person that it's a good use of their time and their investment, and they're not going to do that because of a name. They're not going to take a chance on you because of a name.
They don't care. The music industry doesn't care.
Right.
You've got to get the number of TikTok followers and Instagram followers on your own. I mean,
Crystal Gale. Crystal Gale earned her career. Yet Loretta didn't give her that.
Loretta told her, stop being so much like me. She was on the podcast and she told that story. And she said, it's the best advice I've ever been given. And Loretta said, you need to do pop music more, in that vein, so that you're away from being known as my sister. Develop your own sound, your own career. And she did, and had a huge career.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was amazing. We need to do a duet together. Yeah. We really do. Because I think our voices...
We sort of did.
Yeah.
Not really, though.
What did we do?
This old house, you sang on.
Oh, yes.
But we didn't sing together, really.
That's right. Yeah. We need to sing together. And what else are you touring a lot this year? Or are you taking a down year?
I'll probably 80 cities this year.
Okay.
We start back up in Fort Worth at the rodeo on the 21st, 23rd, something like that. And
of this month or February?
Of January.
Okay.
And then we're going. And we're going to do the full album until I think about mid-March. And then the anniversary period is over and we go back and revamp the show. And
how many hits are on Killin Time? Because is that okay with the audience? Have you found?
Yes, there were 5 number ones on that, and 10 songs. And I make a joke to the audience that we're going to hope you heard. We're going to play the whole album top to bottom, and they cheer. And then I take a beat and I go, the whole album. And I wait and I go, even the bad ones. And,
there are no bad ones on that album.
Once you say that, I think there's only one song on there that I thought maybe they don't want to. I don't know. I don't know for sure that that they're going to want to hear everything.
Your avid fans, though, will know every song.
People tell me, they wore the album out. They didn't wear the singles out. And so I was a little nervous about it. And then we did 3 nights at the Ryman. And I could hear, and typically with the earbuds in, and the band and I were pretty loud in there. And I can't always hear how many people are singing, but I could at the Ryman. It just came through the mics and everything. Mm-hmm. And I walked away from that with a level of confidence because everyone talked me into this. Right. It started with Jake, my bass player, who played on that album.
Oh, wow.
And he said that at the 25th anniversary. I think he said it at the 30th anniversary. We should do the whole album. And I said, no. And I think Hayden and I looked at each other, and he was waiting to see. And I looked at Hayden, and I just kind of said, I don't think so. I don't think everybody wants to hear the whole album. And then Jake, between then and the 35th anniversary, told my manager, who told my agent, who told our marketing guy, who ganged up on me and said, you have to do this. And I still, I agree with that. I said, I just don't think that everybody wants to hear all of the album. And they said, no, trust me.
Yeah.
You have to do it. And I'm so glad we did.
Yeah, because how many platinum is that album?
5.
Exactly. I mean.
Yeah, I just, it's kind of, it felt self-indulging and I wasn't the last thing I want to do is anything just because I love doing it. And there are songs that were hits that I still don't do because I just don't think that it means as much as another song that was a hit that would have to go.
Right.
And it's a hard call to make. And from time to time, we've put something in. You know, Hayden and I will talk and I'll go, you know, I don't feel like that's, you know, if the audience is being kind and yeah, this is good. I don't ever want it to be like that. It either has to matter. It's a weird evaluation to go through.
Yes. Now, do y'all use tracks in a click? So
no, we have to use a click because we have the stage video going.
Right.
And so
you couldn't just change the set if you're feeling like the audience isn't into it, or you can?
Oh, no, we can.
Okay. Yeah,
we can. I've called audibles and we've thrown a song in.
Okay.
It doesn't happen often.
Right.
I spend a lot of time every day of every show day. I'm looking at the set list and going, you know, what have we done here before? What did we do here last time? And usually it's 2 years between the last time and this time. And so I look and spend a lot of time on the set, and I'll ask the band what they think. And so when we go into a show, we're pretty committed to that set.
Well, and 90 minutes is more than 10 songs, so you're still throwing in other hits from other albums, right?
Yeah, we're doing about an hour 40, so it's between 18 and 23 songs, depending on the venue.
Yeah.
This is a more intimate venue, I'll talk a little more. Somebody in the audience yells something, and I make a joke out of it, improvise, and have an interaction. And it'll draw things out. The right venues, I'll cut the band loose and I'll do something solo, maybe 2 songs solo.
I love that.
And it's a great moment to stop and do a reset and then play things the way I did, 35, 40 years ago, just me in a bar.
What's your favorite thing about life right now?
My family, having Lily close by. Lisa, when we got married, if there was a movie we hadn't seen at the theater, we went. So whenever I was around, we were going to the theater and seeing movies. And she loved to go to the movies. And I liked going to the movies, but not like she did.
Right.
And so now...
I have trouble staying awake.
Me?
I do.
You do?
I do.
You got to get the juju mints. Not the juju, what do they call it?
Juju beans?
You got to get the candy, some kind of candy.
Maybe that's right. Because it's cozy and it's dark and I'm just going to fall asleep.
You're going to the wrong movies.
I am. I really am. The last movie I went to see in the theater was Oppenheimer.
Yeah, that was long.
That was very long.
Yeah.
Yeah. I might have dozed off a little bit on that. But I'm more of a on the couch, Apple TV. Yeah,
that's the thing now is she's like the program director.
Yeah.
Always trying to figure out what we're going to watch. And so that's a great, and Lily used to never like to watch movies and anything, TV shows or anything, but she's starting to like that now, so she'll come around and watch with us. But really it's having being home with the family, that's great. I think I'm a better musician now, so when I am out on the road, I feel like I'm better at what I do, so I love doing that.
And you are, like I keep saying this, but your show was incredible the other night.
Thanks.
I stood and watched it.
It's feels funny to say it back to you, but your show is great. Your singing is great.
Thank you.
You, I told you this when you were on my TV show. It was TV Kids. Remember that? That you just you just have this fourth gear that you can go into. And I have three, maybe two, depending on how you look at it. And so I worked hard at singing well. You know, I love to hear great singers and singers who have a command of their voice,
right?
And great pitch, and fun music.
Thank you.
You know, having fun music and,
yes,
and, you know, entertaining, but and understanding the lyrics. I don't know if it's, you know, now that I'm over 40, not a death sentence, kids. You know, it just matters to me more. I want to hear the lyrics and
yes,
be pulled in by those, which I think is the key to country music.
I will say I'm pretty good at getting in the song. Like I'm kind of acting each song. I'm going there and
but not too much.
But not too much.
I saw you talking about that.
I can't.
It's just cracked me up because
the stomping.
Or just the emotion. You know, if it's just the melodrama. If you bring melodrama to your involvement in your own song. And I kind of laugh about that, you know, if I see guitar players who look like they're, you know, having almost a sexual experience playing their guitar.
Right.
And I heard you say that. I thought, you know, that's one of my observations is, and I thought about it after I saw you say that. What do I do? You know, I look back on my old videos like Killin Time, which was, you know, a heartache song, you know, but I'm smiling through it. But I'm interacting with my band while I'm doing it and smiling. But I always try to feel what I'm singing about.
Right.
But I don't want to act like I'm feeling it.
Right. And you're great at that because you combine the thing that everybody loves about you is your smile and the way that you do look like Roy Rogers and that cowboy, you know. And so you're great at giving people what things are the most attractive about you, both physically and singing wise and entertaining, the way you stand there and play guitar. And so you get it, what I'm trying to say. I can't stand the stomping, the overreaction on stage. And I feel like everybody today feels like they have to do that.
It's true. It's true. I was encouraged to do that, and I did it for about 5 minutes in the early 90s. And it wasn't me. The audience will react, but I felt this sort of guilt.
Dumb.
Yeah, I felt like... I'm doing this because a manager told me that it'll get a reaction, and I just backed away from it. And, you know, you look at great groups like that I admire, like the Eagles, or, you know, Jimmy Buffett.
Totally.
You know, the singing groups, there's some, like Diamond Rio, you know. Yeah. It's a great group. If the music isn't cutting it, the musicianship isn't cutting it, then I don't think you're going to keep the kind of audience you want by stomping around. And
I agree.
Yeah,
it's too much overload of stimulation, and they're not hearing the words. You know, I saw Casey Musgraves twice in concert, and the first time I saw her was at Alabama Theater. She came out and started the whole show with Slow Burn, which is a very chill, calm. She didn't come out there
bold.
You know, she just came out and sang a beautiful song for the first song of the night. And I was like, that's freaking cool. I love that because
I saw James Taylor do that. He was just him and his guitar come out and start a show that way. And I tried it a few times, and that's tough. I mean, you know, you really have to be in the right environment for that.
Right.
Yeah.
And you have to be confident that the crowd is into it no matter what you're starting the show with, you know, I don't even remember what song we start our show with now, but you have to be confident that, and I always tell myself, just calm down, be in the moment. Even though it's the beginning of the show, they're not expecting the stomping and the running around the stage. That's just not me. What they want is authenticity from you. And you give that every time. I feel like I give that every time. And also, you're very much a band artist. Like, your band around you is a part of you.
Yeah, I always wanted to be in the band.
Yeah, right.
And so, yeah, they're down there with me. I want to play with them.
Yes.
I think our audience, you know, they're not expecting. I think, and I've seen a lot of younger people come into my shows. I don't think they come to my show expecting me to bounce around on stage, and definitely our audience doesn't.
They just want to hear our great music that we put out, you know?
Done well. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being on.
I enjoyed it. Thanks.
The hour flew by. I can't even believe it.
Yeah.
It flew by. We'll have to have you back. And your beautiful wife is coming on soon.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to talk to her about you.
She's going to have to be so careful to not ruin my career.
I love you.
Enjoy it. Love you too.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. Say hi to the kids.
I will. Say hi to Lily too.
Thanks.